Good morning. On behalf of the town of Chatham, I welcome you to our virtual Veterans Day ceremony. My name is Ted Miller. I served in the Army as a Specialist E5, and from 1968 to 1969 served a tour in Vietnam. Today, I will be your Master of Ceremonies. With no large gatherings and no parades allowed, the virtual media is a great way for us to reach our Chatham community. This will be our virtual parade. We hope you enjoy today's presentation. To start us off, our national anthem will be sung by Britannia Buckner from Monomoy Regional High School.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
On Veterans Day, our nation pays tribute to the more than 20 million living veterans who have proudly served in our armed forces. People sometimes confuse the difference between Memorial Day and Veterans Day, two holidays established to recognize and honor the men and women who have worn the uniform of the United States Armed Services. Memorial Day is set aside as a day to remember and honor our military who died in the service of their country. Veterans Day is intended to thank and honor all who served honorably in the military, whether in peacetime or during war. Today, as we recall the service of our soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Coast Guardsmen, we salute those who have served freedom's cause. We thank the current members of our armed forces, and we honor the men and women who left America's shores but did not return.
Hello, I'm Jill Goldsmith, your town manager, and the proud daughter of a Korean War veteran. Please join me today in honoring all current and former members of our armed forces. Thank you for your sacrifices, your bravery, and your service in defense of our nation and our freedom. Thank you.
I'm Michael, and I'm thankful for my grandpa who served in the armed forces.
I want to thank my great-great-uncle for being in World War II, for being in the military, and to service.
Thank you, veterans, for your time in service, especially my cousin Zach, who served for the Marines.
Hi, my name is Ben, and I want to thank my grandfather for his service. He was in the Air Force as a cook.
Thank you, veterans, for all your hard work and time you have put in this world. Again, thank you.
My name is Cameron, and thank you for your service.
Thank you, veterans, for serving our country, especially Ken Owens, who is in training to be a Navy SEAL diver.
Thank you for your service.
Hello, I'm Shireen Davis, Chair of your Chatham Board of Selectmen. And on this very important day, I would like to say to our veterans, residents, and citizens, thank you so much for your service.
Hello, everyone. Corey Metters, Chatham Board of Selectmen. Today is a very special day. I want to thank all the veterans who have served our nation and all the families that have supported them. Never forget, always remember, 11, 11, 11.
On this special day of remembrance, and as we head into the holidays during a very challenging time, let's take a moment to honor and thank all our Chatham veterans for their unselfish service to our great country. We are forever grateful.
Hello, everyone. I just wanted to take a moment, or a pause, if you will, on this Veterans Day to thank everybody that served our country, whether you're in Chatham or beyond. I want to thank you very much.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us for our virtual Veterans Day celebration. And I do mean celebration, because even though we are forced to do things differently today, we are still able to honor all our veterans. I want to speak about two topics. Our theme this year of just who is a veteran, and how can we help and support all veterans back into their families and communities. You can't tell a vet by looking. During this ceremony, you will see pictures of local veterans. Some you may recognize, some you may not. To put it in personal terms, though, he or she is your father, your brother, your mother, your sister, your uncle, your neighbor, or your friend. Just an ordinary citizen whom you casually pass by as he bags your groceries. Yet more than that, a person who offered some of his or her most vital years to the service of our country, and who sacrificed personal ambitions so others would not have to sacrifice theirs. He or she answered the call to duty when asked, and is the citizen soldier. When Franz asked me to speak today, I was honored to be considered. I'm a veteran because I served when asked, but I am no hero. I am a veteran. I started out as an immature, self-centered kid who bucked the system all the time and who was only looking out for himself until I too joined up. I will quote an unknown source who I think said it best. We went where no one else wanted to go, we did what no one else wanted to do, and we did it with honor and distinction. And today I'm adding to that, and then we came home. The second point is on assisting those veterans who returned, struggle with their transition back to civilian life. By this I mean helping those who served our country to re-enter society successfully. The U.S. Armed Forces does an excellent job in taking our self-centered, red-necked, unfocused, immature young folks and transforming them into focused, team-oriented soldiers. They do a terrible job of reversing that training to allow soldiers to return to civilian life. A few years ago, I, along with 4 other veterans, attended a question and answer session at the high school with a combined history and government class. It was a wonderful experience, and I mention it today because one of the questions asked by the student was, what was it like to come home from a war zone? When we take a look at some of the past wars, you have all seen pictures of the World War II veterans returning to a warm and welcoming homecoming celebration with parades. You saw very little of that for the Korean vets, and more like ambivalence. And moving along to Vietnam, you saw the continued decline in respect as returning veterans were met with riots and civil discourse. Phil Clay, a U.S. Marine veteran who served in Iraq, wrote in his short stories, Redeployment, and I quote, "One of the very strange things about coming home from the modern wars is coming home to a country where such a small percentage of the population is serving. You get a positive reception when people find out that you're a veteran, for the most part, but mostly what people feel is keenly is a kind of apathy, a disconnect from the fact that we are a nation at war. You come home and find out that American people aren't really paying attention, and that is strange." Clay asks us to listen to these stories and try and imagine being there, no matter how hard or uncomfortable that may be. The old adage of walking a mile in another person's shoes fits so aptly. Wear the veteran's boots and imagine you are in the story. It's not easy, nor will it always be pleasant, because as we all know, war is a nasty business. It may become very uncomfortable for you, but in the end, it will bring a new awareness for you and a source of therapy for the veteran. The transition from surviving in a hostile country back to the real world, as we used to call it in Vietnam, is difficult. I spent less than 2 days processing out of Vietnam. Flown to California in a matter of hours, where my only transition consisted of a hot shower, hot meal, clean uniform, and a plane ticket home. I encountered only negative experiences in the airport while waiting for my flight, and then the following morning, I was in Boston looking up my buddies. However, I consider myself one of the lucky ones. I say that because I had the love and support of my family and friends. We see in the news many articles and discussions on post-traumatic stress syndrome, PTSD. I saw an editorial cartoon in the Cape Cod Times that showed many gravestones with the word suicide written on them. The caption read, "For many, the biggest battles are after they came home." With homeless and suicide rates for Iraq and Afghanistan veterans climbing higher every day, we must all take an active role and be involved. I can only tell you from my perspective that without my family and friends, I might have ended up in a much different place from where I am today. In conclusion, as a representative of all our Cape Cod veterans, let me say thank you to this community for being here, for tuning in, and being supportive. Simply by taking part in today's activity, you've taken time out of your busy lives to join with other Americans across the nation to pay tribute to the citizen soldiers who dedicated a portion of their lives to something bigger than themselves. No matter how hectic this week may have been for you, you have shown an interest, and I cannot express enough how much that means to a veteran. By just stopping for a moment to simply offer a kind word of gratitude and attention, no one is looking for you to solve his or her problem. Just be there and listen. The fact that you cared enough to take an interest and not to pry or judge will go a very long way. It will help make sure that the message, "I will never forget you," gets sent over and over again. By remembering today, tomorrow, and all the days thereafter, you will demonstrate your gratitude through a renewed commitment to all citizen soldiers. Thank you. Veterans Day is primarily a tribute to America's living veterans. We should never forget that great achievement has been accompanied through great sacrifice. To secure our freedom, many heroic service members have given their lives. We must never forget a special group of veterans, those that are missing in action and unaccounted for, along with those who have also come home broken both physically and mentally. They deserve our best efforts and unwavering commitment to help them in return. Let us pause now for a moment of silence to remember those who have served their country and are no longer with us today. I want to add a special remembrance for Ed Kirker, a World War II vet who was the American flag standard bearer for the VFW for many years. He died this past year, and the Honor Guard will not be the same without him.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea.
In closing, let us thank our participants. First of all, I want to thank you, all of you who tuned in today to this ceremony. By your participation and recognition, you have given meaning to this celebration. The Monomoy High School a cappella chorus and their wonderful rendition. Sarah Marcio for her selections on the bagpipes. Robert Franz for asking me to come and fill in for him today. Our town manager, Jill Goldsmith, the select board members, and Shauna Neely, our executive secretary. Chief of Police Mark Paulina and his staff, and Fire Chief Peter Connick and his staff. And last but not least, to all our veterans and all our veterans' families. Thank you.